One dart can move a market, but one champion's fall can shake a sport. Andy Jenkins was once a familiar face on the Oach, a World Championship semi-finalist, and a player whose career was built over years of steady work. He now faces an 11-year ban after being found guilty of manipulating matches and betting on his own games. His story pulls back the curtain on how fragile trust can be, and it forces a hard question. In modern darts, where does competition end, and where do the shadows of betting begin? Andy Jenkins spent more than 3 decades on the professional darts circuit, building a reputation as a fierce competitor and a familiar figure in venues across the UK. His walk-on, always accompanied by a determined stride and a subtle nod to the crowd, became a fixture at tournaments, from county halls to the bright lights of Alexandra Palace. For fans, Jenkins was never just another name on the bracket. He was a player whose grit and routine made him stand out, even on the busiest pro tours. The high point of his career came in 2007, when he reached the semi-final of the PDC World Championship. That run, ending in a showdown against Raymond van Barneveld, put Jenkins on the sport's biggest stage. The Circus Tavern in Purfleet buzzed as he threw with a calm that masked the pressure of the moment. Though he fell short of the final, his performance that week earned respect from peers and fans alike, cementing his place in darts history. This was the highlight that many remember. Jenkins' journey was not about overnight fame or headline-grabbing wins. It was years of steady progress, 15 tournament titles, countless matches, and the grind of qualifying rounds. He became known for his methodical approach at the Oach, pausing for a breath before each throw, never letting the occasion rattle his focus. For many in the darts world, Andy Jenkins represented the working-class heart of the sport, a player who showed up week after week chasing the next chance, never quite letting go of the dream. His quiet persistence defined him. That sense of reliability, of a career built on persistence, would soon face its greatest test. On April 30th, 2025, the Darts Regulation Authority issued its ruling. Andy Jenkins, a player with more than 30 years in the sport, received an 11-year ban from all events sanctioned by the authority. The ban was backdated to November 15th, 2023, which will keep him out of competitive darts until he is well into his 60s. Alongside the ban came a fine of £17,580 and 3 pence. The authority said the charges involved fixing the outcome of 12 matches in the Modus Super Series and placing 88 bets on darts between March 2022 and May 2023. The total profit from those bets was £266, a profit tiny compared with the cost of the violations, and a stark illustration of the imbalance. The official statement left little room for doubt. Jenkins was found guilty of manipulating matches and of passing inside information to bettors. He has until May 6, 2025 to file an appeal, but the damage is already done. For most players, an 11-year suspension is more than a punishment, it is a full stop. It means the sudden loss of tour cards, sponsorships, and any realistic hope of returning to the circuit. For Jenkins, whose career was defined by persistence and routine, the ruling did not just close a chapter, it erased the possibility of a comeback. The scale of the ban sent a message through every level of the sport. If a player with Jenkins' record could fall, no one was immune. Headlines spread quickly, reaching far beyond practice rooms and small arenas where he had built his name. In a single announcement, the story of one man became a warning for all. Every dart thrown in a professional match can move thousands of pounds in the betting markets. In darts, the pace is relentless. Legs finish in minutes, and odds shift with every single throw. Bookmakers offer bets not just on who wins, but on the outcome of individual legs, whether a player will hit a double, or even if someone will miss at a crucial moment. These micro markets mean that a single missed dart can change the odds instantly, opening the door for manipulation that is almost invisible in real time. For players outside the televised elite, the economic reality is stark. A Challenge Tour win might bring in £1,500, but after travel, accommodation and entry fees, little is left. Across a season, a mid-ranked pro might earn £20,000 to £50,000 before expenses. In contrast, the winner of the PDC World Championship takes home £500,000. For most, that kind of payday is out of reach. The lower down the ladder, the thinner the margins. Professor David Forrest, a leading sports economist, points out that in these conditions, even a modest offer from a fixer can outweigh a player's legitimate earnings from months on the road. The structure of events like the Modus Super Series adds another layer. Matches run all week, with new groups every day and little time for scrutiny. With so many games and so many betting options, it is easy for irregular patterns to hide in the noise. Integrity monitors can spot suspicious activity after the fact, but the sheer volume makes real-time oversight nearly impossible. For players under financial pressure, the temptation can become more than theoretical. It becomes a calculation. The system built for speed and volume leaves cracks that are hard to close. Suspicious betting patterns rarely go unnoticed for long. At the heart of Dart's integrity system sits a chain of surveillance that starts with data feeds and ends with life-changing sanctions. Companies like Sportradar track every throw, logging odds shifts and betting volumes across thousands of matches each year. When an anomaly appears, perhaps a sudden flood of bets on an unlikely outcome, or a spike in wagers on a single leg, the system flags it. These alerts do not stop the match, instead they trigger a formal review after the fact, often days or weeks later. A Sportradar representative describes the process as relentless but reactive. Algorithms sift through mountains of data, looking for patterns that do not fit the sport's statistical norms. When something stands out, integrity officers dig deeper, cross-referencing betting slips, timing, and even player communications. If the evidence stacks up, the case moves to the Darts Regulation Authority, called the letters DRA. The DRA then opens a formal investigation, collecting statements, betting records, and in some cases phone logs or emails. Throughout, the player remains suspended from competition, sometimes for months, as investigators build their case. Once the investigation concludes, the DRA's disciplinary committee reviews the findings. Charges are brought if the evidence is strong enough, including fixing, betting, or passing inside information. Hearings are held behind closed doors, with players given a chance to respond. If found guilty, sanctions follow. Bans can last years. Fines can wipe out a season's earnings, and a career's reputation can be gone. The chain is precise, but it is always one step behind. Monitoring does not prevent the act, it punishes it after the fact. For the sport, it is a constant race to catch up, knowing that every flagged match is already a blow to trust. Inside the players' lounge, the news landed like a punch. Wayne Mardle, a former pro and now a respected voice in darts, described the mood as stunned silence. For years, the locker room had been a place where careers were built on trust. Every missed double, every upset was just part of the game. Now honest players found themselves under suspicion, their reputations tangled by association. Mardle later reflected that the Jenkins ban didn't just end one man's career, it cast a shadow over everyone who picked up a dart in good faith. The sense of betrayal was impossible to ignore. Trust in the sport took a direct hit. On fan forums, long-time supporters questioned whether any match could be believed. One post read, "Ruins the semis memory." Sponsors, wary of headlines and reputational risk, quietly reviewed their partnerships. Broadcasters issued brief statements reaffirming their commitment to clean play, but the sense of unease lingered. Integrity expert Declan Hill warned that even a single scandal in a fast betting sport like darts can ripple through the entire system. For players and fans alike, the fallout reached far beyond the Oach. Right now, every dart thrown is tracked, but trust is not so easily measured. With over £1 billion wagered annually on darts, integrity risks remain real and unresolved. The real test is not who wins, but whether fans can still believe what they see. What do you think? Leave a comment below.